So they just released patch 0.5.0, and I've talked a lot about Stormgate, but I don't even remember the last time I actually played. Now, luckily, we can check out the Twitch tracker. I can search Stormgate and figure out when I was last in this category. Yeah, dude. So on April 22nd, I did an interview with one of the Stormgate developers, with Tim Campbell. August 20th, 2024 is when I actually last played. That's crazy. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. I don't remember anything about anything. Okay, I remember some of the basics, but I think they've basically changed practically everything that the game has to offer, so... 0.5.0 released, like, literally this morning. And apparently, you know what they added? Like, the main thing they added with this patch, from what I've gathered, is Stormgates. Like, there's actual Stormgates in Stormgate. What? What? Hold up right now. Yeah, apparently creep camps. So I'm mostly interested in trying out some multiplayer 1v1. Apparently creep camps are no more. Apparently creep camps are gone, and now you have like a... I don't know, like a cycle, I suppose? Where sometimes a Stormgate will spawn. I'm not exactly sure. The top bar abilities is no more either. I heard they like rebalanced like the worker start count, or like the starting worker count rather, so like everything's a little different. No creep routes anymore, no. I've talked to a few people that have tried the patch so far, and they're saying it's significantly better. Now, will it be as good as StarCraft 2 yet? Probably not, but I think they're rebalancing basically everything. Yeah, they're like still adding new stuff to it and whatnot. So I think we'll just do a little bit of exploration. That's the plan for today. I don't really care about learning like 1 versus 1, because like everything's going to change anyway. Like adding new units and stuff I think is still ongoing, I think. I don't really know exactly if they've like finished up their unit lineup. I think there's still gonna be some more. So, you know, that alone changes everything. Also, last time I played, you still started off with like a unit. Right? Like right at the very start, you would get a bunch of workers and then also a unit. Yeah, I know they've like overhauled a lot of the audio. They've changed a lot of the stuff. So we'll just do a little bit of easy AI, sure. We'll just try out some variety here and there. I think last time I played, they just added Celestials. Oh, I actually used the... Wait, I made the wrong map. I should pick the one... Ah, that's what these are? So the ones they use in 1v1 right now is the regular one without... Gotcha, okay. Without creeps? That makes sense. Yeah, they've also kind of done away with a lot of like the cutesy stuff. So Bops, the workers, for example, from the Vanguard are no more. And essentially, from what I've gathered, they're making the game a little bit more serious. Which is kind of nice. Because obviously that was one of the complaints that people had, right? That like it was all a little bit too derpy. I think they've like sped up the overall speed of the game too. So effectively... Oh, AI skirmish is the mode that people do versus AI. Like the giant button at the top of the screen. Alright. Yeah, they've done like a full graphics overhaul. They've done like a lot of stuff. So I'm not even entirely sure what I expect from it. Look at these guys. Servos. They're no longer Bops. They no longer have this like cutesy look to them at all. And yeah, there is no more top bar ability. Oh, stuff looks way better. Yeah, I've seen this in like some of the streams I've watched and like some of the videos I've seen of the game. Stuff just looks way nicer. Now, one of the things that I ran into last time that I played was that unit pathing felt really quite clumsy still. Now, I understand that that is one of the core fundamentals of a game, right? So it's kind of difficult to actually change that. But from what I understand, they've actually improved it a lot. So that would be nice. Yeah, so like everything is less desaturated from last I played. There's like skulls and stuff. The grass is less green. This is still very bright, but that's obviously because it's one of the things you interact with. Yeah. Well, I mean, there aren't a lot of people that play this game at the moment, but I think most people are kind of in the camp that I am in right now, where they're like, just not really interested in learning to play a competitive game that is still actively changing. Like, even though it's fun to, like, learn to get better at a game that is constantly changing, like, everything changes all the time. Like, it's not gonna be even remotely balanced. And, like, that's not the goal at this point in time in development either, right? I mean, if it's balanced, that would be a nice bonus, but that's not really the goal. I think they're basically just trying to make the game as good as possible. And you can tag along and play some if you need to. Look at that animation. That's new for sure. I've never seen that before. These things are still just kind of appearing. I think these are not finalized yet, because these are always... I find that whole resource gathering mechanic always a little bit funky. Okay, so we still have the dogs, but we no longer start with one of them. We still have the lancers, fair enough. Actually, I should really be using the quick build menu, huh? I can make a mech bay. I can make the command post. So the command post also looks different, unless I'm crazy. What does this do? Oh, okay, that's the central command upgrade. Okay. So I think these circles on the map indicate where, like, a Stormgate can spawn? Like, I'm not sure exactly if this is, like, something that we'll just see, like, pop up on the screen out of nowhere. I guess I'll send this guy out. So that's a healing shrine? Or something along those lines? At least that's the vibe I'm getting. But I think these are, like, the brand new mechanic that they just added. Which looks kind of fun. So you can spawn these units in on waves as well, so it's still... Oh, there we go. What the heck is that? Oh, that's what the Gaunt looks like these days? I'm playing against the very easy AI, by the way, so I'm not really... Oh, I remember playing this map. I absolutely hated this map. I thought this map was terrible. Because it has 2 entrances into your main base.
Rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
A Stormgate will activate soon? Okay. So the idea behind it, if I understand correctly, what's the old army hotkey? Spacebar. Okay. The idea behind it, I think, is to basically give, like, map objectives that you skirmish over. So obviously you don't have to interact with it, but if you don't, it means that your opponent is gonna likely have the resources from this thing instead. So is this like... The Stormgate is currently active. Active Stormgates can be damaged and captured by your team in order to choose special rewards. So I think you can choose, like, at least from the video that I watched.
Have begun to secure a Stormgate.
Oh my god. Dude, this is the easy AI? Okay, fine, you can have it. Jeez. To be fair, I wasn't macroing at all. Alright, jeez, Loco, chill. Do I, you can have the first of the Stormgates, I suppose. Oh, gee, okay. So I think, in the video that I watched, you can choose, like, 1 of 3 rewards. So, I don't know if they, like, change or, like, how that sort of thing works. I'm not sure. But we can go ahead and have a little peek. Let's go down Tassatur. Thank you very much. Tier 3 resub, by the way. Woo. 6 months in advance as well. Yeah, it's gonna take me a while to get used to everything if I actually want to, like, play this actively. But we're just trying to have some fun, right? I can still make a sentry post. I can still make a biokinetics lab and a mech bay. I guess we'll just try to play bio. Probably okay. And we'll just keep making some units. So most of these upgrades are in the biokinetics lab. Have they added, like, tier 3 units yet for both sites? Does anybody know? Because last time I played, I don't think there were tier 3. Oh, no, there were, like, the weird, like, flyy capital shippy things for, Oh, wait, there's 3 factions. Yeah. There's the Graven. I've never heard of the Graven before. It's a new bio unit, and there's also the heli carrier. So wait, there's a tier 3 bio unit? Oh, that's it. A specialist infantry, adept at disrupting the enemy via unconventional methods. It's a ghost! Somebody go on Reddit and freak out about it. It's ghosts! Okay, no, it's probably fine. It's probably fine. There's no Ultralisk to snipe here. We'll be okay. It's more like Tracer. Cheers, love! The cavalry's here! Okay.
Researching.
I will go ahead and just add some of these units, and my goal is to try and capture the next Stormgate that will spawn. I'll go up to tier 2, I suppose, even though I don't know what for. And I'll just get a bunch of upgrades going. Yeah, I think last time I played, these units still had a different skin as well. Which really is a long time ago. So it still has all the smart build features, where like I didn't actually select workers there. I just made the structures, and then they just magically produced it, which is kind of awesome. Looks like we have definitely not Stimpec. Okay. Okay, we gotta go. Let me get a couple of Stormgates going. I really like the concept, by the way, of Stormgates. Forcing unit interaction like that is kind of smart. It prevents turtling too, right? So I'm assuming these things level up. Okay, they're still derpy. Some of the units are still derpy. I think it is based on the amount of damage.
Our forces have secured a Stormgate.
Oh, that was it? What do I do? Cosmic Drifter? Dark Throne? Vile Lurker. I'm a Vile Lurker kind of guy. Wait, this is my... It died. It died immediately. But I think I have enough units here. Okay, I can actually micro units. Insane. Okay, we still have unit veterancy.
I am your personal healthcare companion.
Unit control there felt way smoother than I remember. I don't know what changed.
What can I do for you?
I still had a couple of my Lancers derping out in the front there.
On the go.
But I could actually micro my troops, which was nice.
Priority 1.
What's good on chatter? Hello. How am I? I am doing pretty well, can't complain. Just trying to figure out what the new update in this game is all about. Welcome back, Psycho.
On the double.
Easy AI is actually kind of strong, yeah. A sensor drone launches a drone across the map. Oh, this used to be a dog. Remember that? How does it work? Did I do it? Oh, there it goes. This used to look like a dog. It's basically a less overpowered version of Scan.
Research complete.
Yeah, look at this. Everything just looks grittier, which I think is clever. Like they've overhauled the graphics a bunch, and they've just changed most of the tone of the game, it seems, which is nice.
I'll do what's got to be done. Time to shoot through.
They also changed the way that like the shroud looks. I think visually it looked different, but maybe it's because the entire game visually looks different.
I'll sort of right out.
Hey,
Morning, sunshine. Where am I needed?
I have no idea, by the way, about like unit compositions or whatever.
For longer, but was not always able to support. Have a nice stream.
Thank you very much. Welcome back. It felt like these units, a lot of these units, were more like their own ice skates back in the day. Now, I think their shadows are still somehow a little cursed, or I don't know exactly what's going on, but they still feel like a little jittery. Yeah, there's no like anti-aliasing at all and like the green selection and all that. So there's still like some refinement that can be done as far as a lot of those things go, but...
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
I'm gonna go take another one of them.
Would they be surprised?
You think the game looks a little bit more bland than what StarCraft looks like?
Off I go.
I mean, they've changed a lot of it, right? It's always difficult exactly as to like what creates character in a video game in general. Like, is it just because we're more used to like StarCraft that we're like, oh yeah, now StarCraft looks like it's got more character? These units are effectively Marines and Zealots, kind of similar to that. A lot of it is also, I think, nostalgia, which is obviously impossible to recreate. Like, for example, you know, most of most of the folks watching this, I guess, grew up with, for example, StarCraft 1, right? Or maybe like a Warcraft or whatever.
Our forces have secured a Stormgate.
You can't recreate
Our
nostalgia.
Luminite mine has been exhausted.
Yeah, maybe the voice lines are a little bit less memorable.
Our forces are under attack.
Okay, so these are the units I got as a reward? Instantly creates 2 copies of any targeted friendly units. Units that cost more than 3 supply will only create 1 copy. Oh, I see. I see. You have some strategic choice there, which is nice.
Distance nominal. Will follow. Pathing confirmed. Construction commencing.
On the double.
Yeah, sound effects is definitely something that they're
I am your personal healthcare companion.
likely still changing, right?
No goes over.
Although I know they did like a big overhaul of it recently, like it did like at least in like a YouTube video. I think they mostly did like rebalancing and stuff, like audio values in the middle of fights.
Healer incoming.
It feels smooth though. I don't know if it looks smooth on camera, but it feels very smooth. You could clone a helicarrier. Yeah, I think I could keep these little things around for a little bit longer. And then we could, like, clone a bunch of our really good units. How many FPS am I getting? I have no idea. I don't think I'm dropping any frames, though, which is good. I'm not really too concerned with frame rates at this point in time, as long as it's, like, feeling pretty smooth. Mostly because, like, a lot of that will come from refining. The game is not really at that phase yet, I don't think, right? You know what? I feel like one of the big frustrations that Stormgate has to deal with is that they are actually doing early access as an early access. Like, over the years, early access on Steam has really become like our game is 99% done, so we're gonna, like, launch it right now so you can go and play it if you want to type of things. And it's just... it's very tricky to actually, like, balance it all properly, I think. Like, it's difficult to communicate. Yeah. It's an actual early access, it feels like. Hey, thank you very much, Tessa Thur, for the casual 10 gift subs. That is very generous of you. I appreciate it. You notice that Western devs don't really put much emphasis on sound design nowadays? I think there is a lot of focus on sound design, actually. I do think overall it is kind of like a neglected or like an afterthought for a lot of developers, but I think in this game they are actually focusing on it pretty hard. My biggest FPS issue was anti-aliasing. Okay. Yeah, apparently the top-down abilities are gone. I don't know if that means the abilities themselves are gone, or like maybe they're just shifted over to like the command cards instead. I'm not sure. Attack still kind of sounds like toothpicks. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that is something that Tempest Rising does really well. I had to think of the name there for a little bit. Tempest Rising's impact audio feels really satisfying. But that's also very much so like a balancing act, right? It's not so easy to actually get that right from the start. I'll try out Infernal next. See what that's like. I mean, just because they took away the top bar abilities right now, doesn't mean that it's like permanently gone or whatever, right? Like they're just doing a lot of experimentation. Ooh. Summon Effigy. For Fight Shroud, Summon Effigy is a cooldown. So this used to be the top bar ability. But now it's apparently over here instead. Is it now based on the energy that I have on my shrine? Oh yeah, it looks like it. Hellspawn Resurgence is still there, together with Shadowfall. So these are tier 2, these are tier 3. Refreshes 3 charges of the target friendly shrine, Iron Vault, Conclave, or Twilight Spire. Okay. So I think all of these units look different now. Everything here is different. Let's just make a shrine. Oh wait, that's the main structure. I guess we can make a shrine first. Sure. I still like that these guys sacrifice themselves. They haven't changed them around too much. I think the imps are actually identical. They still have their little Charmander flame on their... Remember that episode in Pokemon? When Ash had to, like, protect Charmander from the rain? So the flame... That was, like, the saddest moment of my childhood, dude.
More energy required.
Alright, let's make a tribute... Or a tribute pyre. Generates gremlins. Oh! So wait, those have replaced the pigs. There used to be pigs. You think it would have been a better episode if Charmander actually had died? I disagree, man. I was like 6 when I watched that show. George R.R. Martin in the chat right now, man, having a good time. So wait, where are the little guys that supposedly spawn out of this thing? Is that it? Oh, it's a gremlin. Oh, they kind of look like little gremlins too. They look like the Gaunts from back in the day, don't they? The Iron Vault looks very different. Conclave? We'll build one of each. It's a good movie, by the way, Conclave. I enjoyed it. Yeah, no more piggies. No more piggies. Clown Cave? Wait, are we already balance winding? I like it. So these are all my like supply depots basically, right? Which is what we use to like generate additional population. I want to see what these structures look like these days. Got a lot of resources, by the way.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
Jeez.
Structure
Well, I have absolutely nothing to... Oh, what the heck, dude? This is the easy AI. Okay, send in my little guys. I don't have any Therium, dude. Do I have any defensive abilities? No, of course not. I can have my little Charmander guys throw little Orby things. Can you guys harvest a little bit of that, please? Dude, the easy AI does not mess around. I can't even look at my units for too long. I'm trying to read my abilities here. Immediately get wrecked. I thought we were working on a Stormgate right now. Okay. Alright. I have my little centaur guys back. I feel like the color intensity of these structures is a little high. Maybe it's necessary in like the mirror matchups or something, but it looks very, very bright. At least compared to the map and all that, it looks like it's a little too...
Our enemy has claimed the Stormgates.
It looks a little bit too Fortnite-y. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I agree it's not bad, but it is definitely pretty bright. I hate color, personally. No. Okay, so I have this structure, the Iron Vault. Does it, like, do an animation when it, like, spawns a unit? Hold up, let me actually go and tech up to tier 2 here. So I can spawn a unit again here in a sec. Maybe I should go ahead and make a few more of these things. Do you have a separate energy bar? Probably. Okay, if I spawn a unit, what does it do? Okay, it just sort of flashes, that's it. Yeah, so these are the new brutes. Remember the brutes with like the two heads that you would like, you know, they would tear each other apart and turn into two fiends and all that? No more. Well, they can still do it apparently, but... Yeah, and the fiends also are no longer... Oh, they've done away with the white HP bar altogether. I only just now realized that. I thought the white HP bar was really weird. Remember like the stuff that you would get on Shroud when you had like a secondary health bar? That was supposed to give you... Yeah, these are basically Zerglings. These are like legally distinct Zerglings here. Let me just make a couple of units. Let me also make some of them. A Shroud Stone. Oh, these look different too. Oh my god, it's a freaking statue now. What about the Weavers? Okay, hold up. We gotta do one thing at a time, man. We have too many things going on. These guys look a little bit more like centaurs now. Remember them? When the game first like went into early access, everybody was doing Gaunt drops. They had this like infectability that was kind of steamrolly.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will
Okay,
activate.
I guess I'll just make these 2 units for now and we go. I want to try and see if I can get over here. Yeah, they had 2 legs back then instead of 4. Oh, all right. That was my opponent's reward, I think.
Destruction created. A Stormgate has appeared.
I'm on my way.
Our forces are in battle.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You guys have like 6 HP, man. What is that?
Our forces are in battle.
I don't quite understand when these Stormgates are actually active. Like when they are actually like dead.
Forces have begun to secure a Stormgate.
They're definitely taking high priority in hitting the Stormgate rather than the enemy units. Why is it so quiet when they attack? Yeah, that's definitely not supposed to be that quiet. I noticed that as well in the previous game. It felt a little weird.
Humanites.
Okay, so the Stormgate is currently active. Is it the same rewards every time? So this is the health bar of the unit. No, it's not.
Stormgate has been successfully opened.
I don't know if it's on like a timer or how it works. Deadly melee unit can cause shadow shift to scale or close. What? Oh my god, these guys have blink. And terrible vision radius. So I can go up and down ramps without having to get vision? Yoink. I'm out of here, loser. Yeah, these are definitely the best of the options I've seen here so far, man. They seem extremely nice. Okay, I don't actually want to win. I wasn't done yet checking everything out. What else do we have? We have Magmadons. They look kind of similar to how I remember them. Yeah. They look kind of similar. Maybe they are updated, I don't know. Hellborn? I think these are like the first unit that had like the newer aesthetic. Although they seem smaller, they used to be bigger. Oh, they're also way faster with their attacks. Look, have you tried the new formation thingy? Don't tell me they no, I hate unit formation. There's formations? Are there actually formations in the game? Oh, I know what you guys are talking about. This is actually... Hold up, I saw that in the video. Streamer mode? Move line drag, that's it. Yeah, so look, this is one of those features that I think is pretty cool, but I think a lot of like hardcore RTS fans are gonna get a little bit triggered by it. What I can do is I can hold down my right mouse button and it will create a perfect formation. How do we feel about that, gamers? I really like it. Yeah, so I can just set up position just like that. So rather than being forced to box, I can just try and have my unit's information like so. I mean, the old method still works. It's a core part of BAR? VAR? Okay. It's probably useless unless you're a good player. No, I feel like it's one of those things where if you're not that great of a player, you can actually still get a lot of value out of it. Yeah. Like the old method. So I think the way it works... What if I don't pick something, by the way? What happens if I don't pick anything? I think the way it works is like any unit is considered. So it's not like it's really trying to prioritize frontline over like... Yeah. So like my ranged units here are in the front. Yeah, there's a timer to pick, but what does it do if I don't pick anything? Bro, I got Diablo himself. A deep one. That was my nickname in college. Withering Death. That's what they called me. Nobody. Legally distinct Diablo? I mean, Diablo is not the most original or the most, like, inspired thing in the entire gaming universe. As far as gameplay goes, yes. But as far as, like... Nobody had ever done, like, a biblically accurate demon before the release of Diablo. It's insane. Can I do an A move? And no. Formations seem to only work with right mouse button, which I can't do after A clicking. So if I A click, this is what my cursor changes to. I cannot, like, use my right click when I do that. So I think if you want to set up a formation, it's always a move command. But then when they arrive at location, they will go back to, like, the general proximity rules and all that. Hell and demons, they were never heard of before Diablo? That's crazy. Dante. Did you guys know that Dante, back in like the 17th century or whatever, was actually inspired by Diablo 1? Isn't that crazy? Okay, I still have a couple other units that we can go and check out. So the Hexen, that's what you used to start the game with. No more. What about Weavers? Can you guys maybe kill each other? Okay, that audio is way too loud.
Create more tribute buyers.
Oh, these guys definitely are also different. They're way quicker.
A Stormgate has appeared. Our Illuminite line has been exhausted.
Yeah, audio is still all over the place. I know that they had a pass of that in one of the previous updates, but it's clearly still it's still something that needs to be improved on more. Can I eat that thing? No. For some reason, these guys aren't allowed to step on Shroud. How sad. Are they slower off Shroud? Ah, I mean, not that much slower. Yeah, definitely slower, but like no queens off creep. These are still very usable off creep. Is Infernal still busted? Rushy was saying something about that apparently, like, I think at least in like the previous iteration, one of the races was like way overpowered. Yeah, okay, so my initial observations here. Game is way darker and grittier across the board, which is good. Game feels quicker.
Has been successfully opened.
So like in general, it feels like the pace of the game is a little bit higher, which is nice. I think that's good. And then unit control feels a little bit better again too. I mean, graphically, obviously, the game looks way nicer than it did like a year ago. How can I get the dragon these days? Elder Shrine, is that what I need? Cover the entire map in no. Oh, I need to be at tier 3. How do I go to tier 3? What do I need? I just started. Yeah, they've done away with all the top bar abilities. I think they've basically moved the top bar abilities away, but they've added them to the command card of the relevant structures, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that's nice. So we also have the advanced train over here. So Shadow Flyers. I think these still have their old look, although I kind of like them. It's like a one-eyed snake with wings. Okay, maybe they do need an update. I don't know. We have Harbingers. These things were insanely random with their dropping, remember? I used to do this weird, like, Stompy Boy drop. And you could never tell where the units were going to spawn. Or jump, rather. So you could only have, like, 2 of them inside of it, apparently, now. But you never really know exactly where everything was gonna spawn. So what if I try to drop them right now? In the middle of this. Okay, it's just gonna drop at the closest by possible location, apparently. A Swarm Mother. Somehow the walking of this thing doesn't look right. Can't tell why. Looks like it's on ice skates. I guess its like move pattern is smooth or something. It looks funky.
A Stormgate will activate soon.
Okay. The Flayed Dragon. So I can actually just straight up get this, it seems. But it's now on a cooldown? How does that work? Can everybody go and gather some of that stuff, please?
Stormgate has appeared.
I need 750 of the juice. Usually, at least as far as I remember, how do I make a... I need a blood tree. What the heck? Usually, though, when I tried making the Flayed Dragon, it would cost me like 300 of a resource too, but now it's like a 300 cooldown. So it seems like that entire top bar ability is gone and the main structure instead has... Yeah, the cooldown. Is that overlapping over here though? Yes. So it's kind of like a Nexus. It's like a recall that the Nexus has. Does that also share cooldown? It does. What about Summon Effigy? Also sharing cooldowns. Okay, good. So all these 3 abilities that were previously top bar abilities, if I'm not mistaken, they are now shared by the main base. How do I do this? Okay, fair enough. I will be at Home Story Cup this weekend, yes. Dang, these things build so quick. These things that spawn out of my production, like my supply structures, feel too similar to the little gathering dudes. I keep thinking I have idle workers here. Maybe that's a me problem, I don't know. Alright, so I can make a Flayed Dragon. So this is a tier 3 unit. Ooh. Looks like the attack animation is still the same, but it looks... It's way more dippy. Like, it goes way... Like, when it slaps its wings, it, like, moves way higher. Huh, that's cool. I like the animation change there a lot. Seems like it's just randomly sort of... Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I wonder if I can clone the dragons. If I see another Stormgate activate, we can go ahead and have a look at that. So, there's one more unit that I can produce. 2 more. The Spriggan, I think I know. Or, sorry, the Hexen, I think I know. But the Spriggan, I'm not so sure about. Apparently, I need to be making a blood tree. Upgrades flyers built from the... Okay. A blood tree? Is that where we, Is that where we you know, we sent the non-believers? People that don't agree with our society, they end up on the blood tree?
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
No, that was not my nickname in college. No, I don't even know why you would suggest that. Okay, so can I copy another 2 Flayed Dragons? So I don't understand how this looks like a progress bar to me, right? That like, and then it's suddenly done. So I don't understand how it like is obvious that. Anyways. Wait, so these are all different now. Can imbue avatar on target friendly unit to permanently increase its maximum health. Wait, so are these... Oh, dude, these are dependent on the race you play. I think. Yeah. So each race has a different set of, like, Stormgate abilities. Generates a controllable dimensional storm. Probably only affects enemies. Okay. Dang. Yeah, audio surrounding the Stormgate is very weird. For some reason, it's all a little bit random. They've been improving a lot of stuff though. It's nice to see. When is this game supposed to be out? Does anybody know? Like, when is this game supposed to be like done? Have they like got a release date or anything like that? I don't think they've announced anything like that yet, right? They haven't said? Okay. Yeah, I think originally they said they wanted to aim for like the end of 2025. It's done when it's done. I mean, that would be amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like every game should be done when it's done. But that is not quite the norm anymore, especially when you have to actually, you know, pay people to eat. Video game developers can't eat passion alone, chat. Okay, we can make some Spriggan. Yeah, these guys are very creepy. Look at them. These are basically kind of like Mutalisks. They feel extremely similar in their pathing to Mutalisks. In StarCraft 2, that is. Not StarCraft 1 Mutas, but very flowy, very floaty. So can you spread these out as well? Oh yeah, you can. Magic box! Weep! Oh no, there's a unit that has some sort of splash damage and, you know, anti-air. Whoop! It's magic box. Spread them out. You know one thing that I think is a little funny that they haven't added to this game? 1-1, 2-2, and 3-3 upgrades. I don't know if they're a good or a bad thing, but in StarCraft 2, which is... Like, this game is leaning a lot more StarCrafty now than Warcrafty. Although both StarCraft 1 and StarCraft... or StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3 have it, but... A lot of strategy in Blizzard RTS games leans on 1-1 upgrades, 2-2 upgrades, or 3-3 upgrades finishing. Now, I love it as part of a strategy game, But I don't know how to, like... It's always difficult to communicate, I think, because the units don't visually change. Maybe they should, I don't know, if they have, like, 1-1 or whatever, but it is always a little bit tricky to, like, communicate it, right? But in StarCraft 2, like, pretty much all strategies these days rely on those upgrades in particular. So, like, Forge upgrades, Evo Chamber upgrades, Engineering Bay upgrades. And this game doesn't have something like that. Now, I don't know if it needs to have something like that. Oh, wait. I can get this. Oh, dude. There's RNG for the Stormgate rewards. Chat, I got 5 of them. 4. I can't count. But they had a timer, though. Like, are you guys all going to time out at the same time?
Has been exhausted.
No timer anymore, huh? They don't instead, or they don't, Loco, instead to add weapons and armor upgrades to the army as a whole. They're going to get baked into the unit upgrades instead. Right, I get that, but what I'm trying to say is, like, maybe they should have those conventional ways of upgrading. Although I understand why they wouldn't want to go for that sort of thing. It does kind of feel like a core gameplay mechanic. Maybe it's not a good core gameplay mechanic, though. That's kind of the question. Oh, the cooldown is for spawning the next one. Oh, you might be right. So I can... Yeah, that's what it is. So I thought the cooldown was the lifespan of the dragon, but that's not how it goes. I kind of like the idea of timing attacks. Especially if, like, the timing of the map objectives is standardized. So somebody previously said that, like, the timer, like, the Stormgates spawn every 3.5 minutes. I wonder if it would be nicer if, like, you could line up a set of upgrades and finish up right around that same time, too. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Obviously, games are allowed to be different, right?
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
What do you guys think of the readability in these type of engagements? It's good, right? I feel like that's one of the things that a lot of RTS games don't quite get right, but yeah, it's way better than it used to be. Yeah.
A Stormgate has appeared.
I think what they've done is, like, they moved... Like, the unit pathing feels better. I don't know if they've changed much about the pathing. It feels like the units in general are smaller and a little bit quicker to, like, combat it. So I think maybe, like, there are still some derpy moments, but it's just kind of hidden because the units are quicker, so you don't really notice it. These guys still kind of look like they're on roller skates, but they still get stuck on things, too. I guess these can be considered timing attacks. Yeah. Alright. I didn't get any of the upgrades this time around. Did I make all the units? No, not the Hexen, but I think we all kind of know what to expect from that one. Okay, let's check out the Celestials too. Celestials I've never understood, by the way. I have no idea how Celestials work. Edge of Oblivion. Is Celestials the cat girl race? I don't think so, no. Talking to Tim, though, it sounded to me like they wanted to add a 4th faction to the game. So surely the 4th faction is going to be cat girls. Specifically anime cat girls. Has to be. Have they changed anything as far as the visuals for the Celestials go? Or are these still like the old graphics? I mean, the first iteration of them. Because last time I played, these were like pretty recently introduced. They haven't updated these yet? Okay. I find this entire race a little weird. These are gonna get reworked last? Okay. I never quite understand how they work. It's all weird to me. So I can make another arc ship, but like my main base can basically fly around. Yeah, I don't understand this race. It's different from any RTS game I've played. Power bank. Major changes are gonna be for the Celestials on 0.6. Gotcha. I've no idea. I don't think we really need to dive deep then with this particular race if it's gonna get overhauled in the next patch. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I gotta say though, game feels nice. It feels much better. It feels to me like they have been making some pretty stellar improvements and they're still cooking up more. Is it just Celestial players on the ladder right now? You probably are right. Can we, is there like a leaderboards? Can we like see, ah, here we go. No, it's all Vanguard. Or no, it's all Infernal. I think that's what Rushy mentioned, that like most people right now play Infernal. I mean, this doesn't look too much different from the StarCraft 2 ladder though, where like 80% is Protoss. You just have to be really good. Oh, there's Rushy. Look, in the you have to be very good at like the Infernal mirror matchup. We had some Brute Lord Infestor enjoyers in the Stormgate developer team. I see. I mean, there's still plenty of people playing, it seems. Okay, let's have a look at the Steam charts. Now, I think this is going to be a little bit depressing. Because last time I had a look at this, there weren't a lot of people playing. Yeah, so 24-hour peak was 226 players online simultaneously. If you look at like the all-time graph, so the peak was right at the very beginning of the early access, and then like there's a little peak every time there's an update. Yeah. So to put this in perspective, because it's always difficult to actually judge, right? Counter-Strike apparently had a 24-hour peak of 1.5 million. Now, Counter-Strike is extremely popular. But you have to scroll pretty far down to get to the ones that are in triple digits. I'm a Quake player. It's not terrible. Yeah, it's difficult to say, right? So we don't have really the exact numbers for like StarCraft 2 or Warcraft 3 or like Age of Empires, really. Although maybe we can get some info over here, but I think Age of Empires is available on a bunch of different things. What's Age of Empires 4 at? What? No, maybe Age of Empires 4 isn't even on here. Wasn't it on Steam? Maybe I should spell Empires correctly. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so the definitive edition of Age of Empires 2, which is, by the way, a pretty dang popular game, is at 8,500 24-hour peak. By the way, let me just say that Age of Empires 2 is still doing this well, this many years after the release, is pretty insane. Like, when did AoE 2 come out? AoE 2 came out 1999. About half my viewers released after Age of Empires 2. So, the Blizzard games aren't on Steam. The Blizzard games are on Battle.net, so they have their own service. We can't really see exactly how much they have. Oh, here's W3 Champions, which is a custom ladder for Warcraft 3. Apparently, that is at about 4,500 daily peak, and I think Blizzard's ladder is probably more popular than that. I also know there's like a different ladder, I think it's called KK or something, for the Chinese and like the Korean server. for Warcraft 3 as well. And I'm guessing they have like a similar number of players. I don't know. But I think it's safe to assume Warcraft 3 probably has a comparable number of daily players. I think it's safe to assume StarCraft 2 has quite a bit more than that. But it's really hard to say, right? Like, we don't really know the numbers. As far as I know, Blizzard hasn't communicated those in a very long time. Like, remember back in the day when Blizzard used to communicate the amount of, like, World of Warcraft subs? They would be like, we now have so many paying customers. We're so fucking good. And then at some point, they stopped communicating it, and we're like, oh god, that means it must be going down. Like, the moment they stopped sharing that info, everybody knew it wasn't growing anymore. Yeah. In my mind, and maybe I'm wrong, but let's say Age of Empires 2, like 20,000 daily players, or 20,000 daily peak, rather. I'm thinking Brood War is probably also around that amount. Maybe slightly more? I don't know. Warcraft 3 probably at the similar amount. I think StarCraft 2 is maybe at like 30 to 40, maybe 30 to 50,000 if I were to make an educated guess. Which I think is about right. So Stormgate sitting at a 200-hour, 20 or 200-player, 24-hour peak right at a new patch is obviously not ideal. Then again, how many... Like, I think a lot of people, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you guys can let me know. I think a lot of people are kind of like me in the sense that they're, like, waiting for the game to come out. I think in StarCraft 2, there's quite a bit more. Like, even if it's not just 1v1, there's a lot of people playing co-op in StarCraft 2. There's a lot of people playing arcade. I think a lot of people, though, for Stormgate are waiting for... Are waiting for the 1.0 release. They overhyped themselves into a black hole of criticism. You think so? It is interesting, right? So Stormgate decided to like release very early into early access so people could go and play it already and then make up their minds, right? They could be like, yo, this is something I want to keep looking at or something I don't want to keep looking at. For some reason, though, they were so communicative that it kind of bit them in the butt a bunch. I feel like what they've been doing for like the last half year, where they've just sort of been like laying low and like occasionally on social media and stuff, but they're not like as open. I feel like that's actually what they probably should have done since the start. I think the Stormgate patches are a little bit too late already. They really overhyped it. Yeah, I think they did overhype it a bunch. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's interesting to me because everybody will always say that they want transparency. But then as soon as you get transparency, a lot of people are like, yo, this is not what I wanted at all. And I don't quite know what to make of that. We want transparency and honesty. I think they have been pretty honest though, right? Like, I don't think they've had any like ill intent with anything. People don't know what they want? Is this like World of Warcraft vanilla all over again? You think you want it, but you don't? I think they kind of like... They kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit with like some of the communication, but it is rough. Yeah, there are of course like games that like have a similar setup and then at some point can climb back up. No Man's Sky is an example. Baldur's Gate 3 is maybe an even better example. Like Baldur's Gate 3 released in early access years before the actual release of the game and people hated it. And then obviously Baldur's Gate 3 released some time ago and people freaking loved that game. So it's certainly possible. But I do believe they probably should have been a little bit more under the radar initially. I think it would be pretty good. Geralt versus Mixu in that one grand finals where they were just rushing their main base over to the other's main base. Growing pains. Growing pains. I don't really mind it, to be honest. I'm just curious to see what this is going to be like, right? Like, whether or not... Like, obviously, this is not a player base that is sustainable for, like, long-term growth. Right? Like, obviously, that's not where it's at. But I wonder how many people would be interested in, like, you know, checking this sort of thing out again. Like, say the game releases in the 1.0 edition, and they announce a big tournament, and pro gamers actually give it a shot, and, like, we get to, like, watch a Cyril versus Clem in Stormgate. I think a lot of people would be down. I think a lot of people would be willing to give it a second shot. But I think a lot of people are also kind of like me where, you know, you're kind of just waiting for the game to be done. I mean, obviously, even when the 1.0 edition releases, I'm sure they're still going to be adding a lot of stuff to it, but... You think the casual player base is already done with the first release?
Squared away.
I mean, they're still making a lot of co-op updates too, I think.
The reckoning.
They should invite a popular e-girl to play Stormgate. Yeah, the hype was kind of like the finished... The hype was kind of like the hype that maybe should have been there for the finished game, but then obviously the game wasn't finished. Co-op is currently on pause? Okay. Yeah, I haven't checked out the campaign yet. I do want to go ahead and replay that too, because I know that they've done like a full review of like the entire thing. From what I understand, they've like redone the entire thing. No. They're focusing right now on 1v1 and then also the campaign. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out on the development. But I think they're making steady progress, which is good.